Hey YouTubers, happy Friday. This is going to be a one-take video because there's just so much news going on out there. Did you see this Trump presser? I'd have to say it happened a few minutes ago. Fox News, I'm sure CNN was covering it. But Trump was there with House Speaker Mike Johnson, acting all presidential. This was his first presidential presser. But I have an update to a story that I did a while back. Remember this story about the guy in Harrison, Ohio? It's a suburb of Cincinnati. And he was so mad at the city council or at the zoning issue because there was a business across the street and they had too many vehicles at this business. And he felt that was a violation of the zoning code, so he took it to the city council, wherever, and they basically ignored his request. Well, it turns out that he had all these toilets and a Confederate battle flag put up on his property. And people were complaining about it. And he said, well, they want something nasty, I'll give them something nasty. Now he's thinking about having a homeless camp because apparently Harrison has an issue, or it's starting to have an issue now, with homeless people wandering around at night. So he says, okay, well, I'll go ahead and I'll set up this this homeless camp on my property so these people have a place to go and sleep. So here's the update to the story. Oh, this is so juicy. In fact, somebody should make a movie of this. This is that movie Used Cars with Kurt Russell. This is Used Cars meets the Civil War meets Citizen Kane. So this is at Fox 19. Harrison councilman charged with vandalizing property of resident who displayed toilets and Confederate flags. Now, before I get into this, there's also another story out there. I don't know if anybody is following this. This is in Spartanburg. I believe it's South Carolina. Let me go to the article here. And this is at the Post and Courier in Spartanburg. So it says here, Spartanburg Confederate flag owner loses in court how we got here and what's next. So it says here, according to this article, those flying the Confederate flag along I-85 suffered a defeat in court, but their attorney said they don't plan to raise a white flag. Judge Mark Hayes ruled February 20th that a notice of violation Spartanburg County issued against the 120-foot flagpole, which I think it should be shorter, is valid, and the County Board of Zoning Appeals abused its discretion when it overturned the notice in January 2023. Attorneys for the landowner filed a motion to reconsider. There was a subsequent hearing, and Hayes indicated April 5th that his initial ruling would stand. So it goes on to say that an attorney for the property owner told the Post and Courier it will appeal this ruling, and the county spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment. So this is all centered around less than an acre of land near the end of what's called T-Berry Road. And that changed hands back in December of 2019. And it was a end-of-year gift to Adam Washington Bollinger, Camp number 68, which is the Spartanburg chapter of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So the issue is that this flag is right along I-85. It's 120 feet tall, this flagpole. And originally, they had somebody come and check. They had somebody do some electrical work. Supposed to get a permit for electrical work on the property. But instead, they put up this flag. Now, I don't agree with that. You need to go get the permit that if you're going to put up a Confederate battle flag, and you would put up a flagpole to put up the Confederate battle flag, then go get a permit specifically for putting up that flagpole to put up a Confederate battle flag. So I think they're both in the wrong here. And I think there can be a compromise that can be reached in Spartanburg. Why don't you move your flag? Why don't you make it a 50 or 60-foot flagpole instead of 120 feet? Move it back about 20 or so feet. So it's about maybe 50, 60 feet away from I-85, where you have all these businesses, and you have, they say, like 80,000 cars that travel on that road every day. So that's going on. But getting back to this story in Harrison. Oh, and OJ died yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm doing this all at once here. So OJ died yesterday. And I remember where I was, watching the car chase, the slow-speed car chase in the famous white Bronco You know, I was willing. Now, I've heard a lot of talk about, this is about racial lines with this case, and for some people that may have been true back in the day. But I can remember we took a shot of this, a photo of this, put it in our yearbook because we were working on. I was taking a yearbook class at the time when I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, 1995. So when the verdict came down, we were in the classroom. We turned on the radio. And we took a photo of this, all of us surrounded by around the radio, hearing the verdict here with the O.J. Simpson case. And I don't remember anybody who was black in our class, there being this division in our class, because they're saying there was division. You had people that were, the white people weren't happy, and the black people were just cheering. I don't think that really was the case. I think it was a mixed bag. You had some people that were for O.J., who thought he was innocent. You had some people who thought he were guilty, or thought he was guilty. So I think the media is was trying to make a big stink about that to make something out of it, rather than looking at it and saying, hey, this is a court case. This is what these people decided. Now, you can have a separate discussion about whether or not the jurors made their decision because of what had happened a few years earlier with Rodney King, which, when you go back and look at it, was only like 2 or 3 years earlier. So there was a lot of tension in L.A. at the time. So you can make that a separate issue. But on the whole, I think most people, black or white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, looked at this case and said, okay, the jury decided what it decided. Maybe I agree with it, maybe I don't, but that's what the jury decided. But I lost all respect for OJ when he got arrested in Vegas for apparently a robbery in, I think it was attempted kidnapping. But OJ passed yesterday, 76 years old, prostate cancer. Of course, it's always sad when somebody dies, especially somebody famous. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. I lost all respect for him when I found, and when the jury came out, or rather when the verdict came out, with the case in 95. I was willing to accept the verdict for what it was. I didn't look at it in terms of racial lines. I just accepted it for what it was. So getting to this story here, like I said, just trying to throw this all in one video today. So, as I mentioned, a lot of news out there. Trump doing this mock presidential presser today. OJ passing yesterday. You got these issues with the Confederate battle flag in Spartanburg. And in Harrison, this is the big story of the day, this follow-up here. So, according to, as I said, Fox 19, Harrison councilman charged with vandalizing property of resident who displayed toilets and Confederate flags. So, one councilman, because in this display, he had put the words on these toilets posted these signs on these toilets. It said councilman, mayor, whatever it was, clerk. It says here, a Harrison City Council member is charged with trespassing onto and vandalizing the property of a resident who displayed toilets and Confederate flags earlier this year. Talk about used cars meets the Civil War meets Citizen Kane. Several of the toilets, which were visible to cars on Harrison Avenue, were marked with the white council signs for each council member, as well as one for clerk and mayor. There was also a red sign that said Harrison zoning allows junkyards, referring to this business across the street, which had apparently more vehicles than it had a permit to have on its property. The property owner, Steve Hickey, tells Fox 19 now, he was making a statement about lax city zoning code enforcement at a business across the street, as I said. Now, according to police records, alleged Harrison City Councilman, listen to this, Mike Maines went to his property on the evening of March 31st this year and broke the law. Maines is 57 and he faces 3 misdemeanors, receiving stolen property, criminal damaging or endangering, and criminal trespass. Now, this next part I'm a little confused on here. It says the council member since 2018 told Hickey he put up a libertarian sign in Hickey's yard and then drove on the grass, I guess, tearing it up along the driveway because he was, quote, pissed off and angry and frustrated, according to a recording of a phone call Maines made to Hickey, which Hickey taped. So this is what the police report shows on this, saying that Maines is seeking forgiveness here from Hickey after the incident was reported to police. And this is what was said in the phone call. He shouldn't have driven, or what they said he should have done, or what he admitted to, or he tried to apologize in this phone call. Maines did. He shouldn't have driven through the yard. He's upset and wants to take the flags down. Take the flags down. He agrees to apologize and ask if he should come up to the property. Now, Hickey ends the call by telling Maines not to commit any more criminal acts. Maine states, "But did I get your attention? I'll take the sign down if you have issue with it. Although it's your constitutional right to put toilets and Confederate flags in your yard," this is so good. This is just too juicy. "There's consequences to that. There's consequences in being passive-aggressive. The city of Harrison is frustrated with you." Well, maybe you should listen to your citizens, Councilman Maines. Hickey needs to make peace with the city and take down the flag. Maines wishes to make peace. How can this be fixed? Now, they've got a picture of Mike Maines, and I'm sorry, but he looks like your typical politician. Now, police wrote court records that Maines, it seems like they missed a word here, that Maines recklessly entered the property despite notice against unauthorized access via an enclosure barrier manifest by a sign that said restricted area. I can't even talk today. The elected official then caused damage to the property by driving across the grass multiple times in his vehicle. Maines was found in possession of 2 solar lights that were taken from the property. Oh! So a Harrison police officer who responded to the damage report noticed a pole was moved from its original location, leaving an imprint in the ground along with the tire tracks in the driveway and yard, according to the incident report. I have never seen, in all my life, I mean, I know there are divisive symbols out there, okay? You've got the Nazi flag. Anything to do with the Third Reich. You've got the KKK. There's a lot of offensive symbols out there. These statues to Satan, really? Do you people have anything better to do with your time than put a statue to Satan in no, free speech, okay. If it's on your property, you should be able to do what you want to do. As long as you don't, violate somebody else's rights. But there's all these, these quote-unquote offensive symbols out there. But I've never seen in all my life so much backlash over the Confederate battle flag. Absolutely amazing. But nobody talks about the slavery going on right now in the Sudan. Nobody talks about what was said in 1862 by the governor of California, Leland Stanford, who called the Asians an inferior race. I don't see anybody asking for the California state flag to be taken down. Nobody's talking about the busing riots in Boston in the 1970s. So it just amazes me. It just amazes me. But I thought I'd share this with you, this update today with this story that I've been following in Harrison, Ohio. They've got this issue in Spartanburg. And then we had Trump do this presser today, and then OJ passed away. Isn't it a great world? Isn't it a great time to be alive? Hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, one take video. If you did, you know what to do. You can follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time. Or you can find me at X, Culture Confederacy, at CultureConfed1 on X. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing called the United States. And you know how we do it here. This is where the past crashes with the present. I'll catch you next time. And you all have a great Friday. See you next time.